Start when you're ready. Just let us start. Marcus done. Powerful thumb. That's fine. Just let us know. And sorry, how long are we? We're running for half an hour. Okay. So, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for coming to this press launch of the new product which we have, the second major announcement of a major analysis related to the World Heritage Convention this week at the World Parks Congress. And today we're launching the first ever assessment that's been made of the benefits that natural World Heritage areas provide over and above the direct nature conservation benefits that obviously have been the central concerns of the World Heritage Convention since its establishment in 1972. My name is Tim Badman. I'm the director of the IUCN World Heritage Programme. It's my pleasure to be the MC for this event, and we have 4 speakers to introduce this project to you, and then we should have time to take your questions and ideas once that has happened. So I'd firstly like to ask Professor Beate Jessel, who's the president of the German Nature Conservation Agency, the Bundesamt für Naturschutz, if my German gets it right, BFN. And BFN are a long-standing partner, both a technical partner and also a financial partner in this instance for our work. And in particular, we've had a long-standing cooperation on matters to do with the World Heritage Convention. So I'd like to thank BFN for really being the engine that's enabled us to undertake this analysis, and ask Professor Jessel to explain in a few words BFN's reactions to this report. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Tim. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's a real pleasure for me to introduce to you this brand new study, which we have financed, the benefits of natural world heritage, identifying and assessing ecosystem services and benefits provided by the world's most iconic places, which has been compiled by the IUCN World Heritage Program with support of my agency, the German Federal Agency for Nature Conservation. Well, the World Heritage is one of the big issues within this Congress, and today natural World Heritage sites are mentioned by media mainly for 2 reasons, one can say. That is first, when they are inscribed in the precious World Heritage list, but that is second, when they might be threatened or endangered. The wealth of benefits and ecosystem services that these sites provide on local, national or international level remains often unmentioned. And we would like to fill this gap with our study. The German Federal Agency for Nature Conservation has supported this study because we recognize the need for a better understanding of the linkages between ecosystem services and human well-being, as well as the need to inform decision makers about this relationship. This is particularly important given that all natural World Heritage sites are affected by human activities and none can be considered really ecologically pristine. We remember there was also a red list of World Heritage sites which had been also launched on this Congress. The actual values of World Heritage sites go far beyond the so-called outstanding universal value, which comprises the values indicated for the World Heritage site inscription, and they also go beyond the biodiversity conservation benefits they provide. In the context of protected areas, and this equally applies to World Heritage sites, it has been acknowledged that the socio-economic benefits can contribute to several dimensions of well-being through direct and indirect use as well as non-use values. We can broadly distinguish, let me say, the following approximately 5 dimensions of well-being. That is, first of all, subsistence, the non-economic benefits that contribute to well-being such as health, nutrition, clean water and shelter. That is, economics, benefits that provide the ability to earn an income, to consume, and to have assets. That is the cultural and spiritual dimension, like pride in community and protected areas, confidence, living culture, spiritual freedom, or education. That is the role of World Heritage Sites in environmental stability and provision of natural resources, and relating their relation to issues of governance and thus influence of decision-making processes. Examples of ecosystem services provided by World Heritage Sites include provision of resources for subsistence, maintenance of the quantity and quality of water resources that can be used for drinking and irrigation. They include erosion control or the maintenance of social and cultural values. Well, why it is important to assess these benefits and contributions to human well-being for World Heritage Sites? I would like to mention two main reasons. First, there is a need to mainstream biodiversity and ecosystem services into development and planning. This is especially important for World Heritage Sites as they are increasingly threatened by human development. And second issue, the international discussions on biodiversity conservation have shifted from pure conservation and a view on species and protected areas to a broader approach looking at ecosystem services. This approach aims to support the discussions on conservation and sustainable use of ecosystems and biodiversity with additional economic arguments on the benefits and costs added to these actions and to integrate them into the relevant decision-making processes. It is important for World Heritage Sites to take up this approach and link to these important discussions which take place in many international so-called TEEP processes. As you know, TEEP stands for the Economics of Ecosystems and Biodiversity. Well, the study which we launched today is the first to present a global assessment of ecosystem services and benefits from all natural heritage sites. And I can say it is a milestone in terms of a new approach to communicate World Heritage Site to a broader audience. My following speakers will highlight that natural World Heritage Sites enhance our lives economically as well as socially, culturally, and spiritually. The full range of benefits they provide to go far beyond monetary gains. That is an important issue. It is our collective responsibility to ensure that we preserve these inspiring places and maintain their values so that future generations can continue to enjoy them. Thank you for the moment.
Thank you very much, Professor Jessel. I'd like to now give the word to the second partner of IUCN that has enabled this report to be produced. That is the United Nations Environment Programme's World Conservation Monitoring Centre, UNEP WCMC, based in Cambridge. And we have here Dr. Naomi Kingston, who is the head of the Protected Areas Programme of UNEP WCMC, who've worked with us on the technical analysis behind this report. And Naomi can explain in her own words a little more about their role. So Naomi, please go ahead.
Thank you. We in UNEP WCMC are delighted to be part of this project, which is another example of the successful partnership we have between IUCN and UNEP. Working with partners worldwide, the Centre provides objective, scientifically rigorous products and services to help decision makers learn about the value of biodiversity and apply this knowledge. We not only collate and verify data on biodiversity and ecosystem services, but also analyse and interpret it, making the results available to our partners in accessible forms. In partnership with IUCN, UNEP WCMC maintains the database of natural and mixed World Heritage Sites as part of our work to collate the World Database on Protected Areas. This study is a first step in assessing the diversity of ecosystem services that World Heritage Sites can provide to society. For us, the next steps will be to apply the analyses undertaken here to the global protected areas estate to heighten our understanding of the numerous benefits that protected areas deliver for people and nature. It's only by understanding their value and documenting these benefits that we can raise awareness of their value as a proven and cost-effective natural solution for addressing many global threats, including water security, food security, climate change mitigation, disaster risk reduction, and combating desertification. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Naomi. Let me next turn to Dr. Elena Osipova, who is the Monitoring Officer in the IUCN World Heritage Programme, is also one of the authors of this study and has been, within IUCN, the project manager. Elena, firstly, thanks for the great work to coordinate this project and also to all of your fellow authors. And Elena will introduce some of the headline results in the study that we're launching. So Elena, please.
Thanks. Using some of the best available data set, the study assessed several types of ecosystem services and benefits at the global scale. For example, we looked at water provision and carbon stock, and it was estimated that 5.7 billion tons of carbon are stored in forests found in natural World Heritage sites in the Pantropical region. Then, using the data compiled through the IUCN World Heritage Outlook, which was also launched at this Congress, we've identified the full range of benefits provided by all natural sites across the globe. It was estimated that more than 90% of sites are important for tourism and recreation, but also education and research. Natural World Heritage sites also provide important environmental services. For example, 66% of sites are important for water quantity. About half of those sites provide important natural hazard regulation services, including flood prevention. But the study also identifies that the provision of these benefits and services continues to be impacted by a number of factors, particularly land use change and overexploitation of resources. The study also explored the economic valuation approach in a number of case studies, including Doñana, Virunga National Park, and Great Barrier Reef. However, the study highlights as well the importance of looking at what cannot be quantified, including links to the well-being of local communities and the importance of recognition of cultural and spiritual values of natural World Heritage sites. We've also looked at the importance of governance and management approaches in a number of case studies, including Yellowstone and Kakadu National Park, and many more. There's a total number of 23 case studies in addition to the global analysis, which you can all find in the report. Thanks.
Okay, thanks very much, Elena. And just to conclude our panel, we'd like to talk about, or introduce a speaker to talk about just one of those case studies. So Justin O'Brien is the CEO of the Gundjeihmi Aboriginal Corporation. And this is a site which Justin will doubtless say a little bit more about, but one of the sites included within the 228 sites that are listed as World Heritage Sites for their natural values, but it is one of a smaller number of sites that's recognised because of its interaction between people and nature, and is one type of situation where we can see the intimate relationship between a World Heritage area and people who have been stewards and lived with that place for, I think, 65,000 years, and continue to have an intimate relationship with it now. So just as one example, Justin, perhaps you could speak to the types of issues that we're dealing with in this report. Thank you.
Cheers. So I'm here on behalf of the Mirarr traditional owners of a part of Kakadu National Park. It's Australia's largest national park, some 20,000 square kilometres, and as Tim has said, it's dual listed World Heritage in terms of its natural and cultural values. My employers have sustainably integrated their natural, what we see as natural and cultural values as being distinguished, integrated them for inner land management practice, a sustainable one for 65,000 years. We are often tasked with, with better protecting that landscape, and it is a cultural landscape. Let's be clear about there is no, the cultural and natural values for people such as the Mirarr are indistinguishable. World Heritage and the partnership within which the community sits with the Australian government has brought a significant international focus on local issues. We have been tasked in recent years and challenged with the threat of expansion of uranium mining in the park. We have invasive species threatening the park. We have challenges from climate change in the park. And the fact that the property is listed World Heritage has given us an international platform on which to gain international support, to argue with the Australian government and to indeed partner with the Australian government for a better environmental and cultural outcome. In particular, I'd like to say it's important at events like this, where we have recently received, I made reference to the IUCN's World Heritage Update just now. Those issues were listed as matters of concern for Kakadu. At forums like this, we are actively talking with the Australian government, learning from international experience about how we can better involve Aboriginal people in the direct management of the park via a network of ranger groups. That speaks directly to the well-being, the socio-economic advancement of Aboriginal people. These are very, very serious, critical issues for us. This report is about the natural values. We work daily with the implications of the interwovenness of the natural and the cultural values. In Kakadu National Park, the Aboriginal people are dying some 30 years younger than the average white person in Australia. The socio-economic challenges there are significant. Working on country is proven universally, and particularly in Australia, as one of the best means of addressing Indigenous socio-economic disadvantage. So those significant threats, those challenges that we face, can be addressed by mechanisms such as this, such as addressing the nature-culture divide, the connecting practice project that we heard from recently. So it's welcome to see this. I think this is a beginning of something, and we look forward to this progressing more. Yeah.
Right. So thank you very much, Justin. So that completes our panel, and thanks to all of our panelists for their presentation. We have time now. If anybody has any questions that you'd like to pose to our panel, please go ahead.
Justin, Dr.
So
Jessel
just
mentioned that we only hear about World Heritage areas when they're listed and when they're threshed. For you, having an economic value placed on the World Heritage area, does that give you more ability to argue with the federal government, for example, or does it make it, in a sense, challenging if what the government sees as the economic value of uranium mining, for example, exceeds what they see as a World Heritage value?
Let's put it this way, our debate over uranium mining would have remained a domestic debate had it not been a World Heritage property. Kakadu receives, on a bad year, 150,000 tourists. The visitation to the park is driven in large part by, I think, its special status as a World Heritage property, and it's a positive story. It's a beautiful place, and I think that in cooperation with international groups such as these, we can really improve the experience that everyone has, and hopefully the land management practice up there. Without World Heritage, though, we would find it very difficult.
Is it going to make a difference that World Heritage? Is it going to make a difference, the announcements this week that World Heritage areas should be no-go zones for mining? How much of that are you going to take on board?
That's what we've been arguing for a hell of a long time. The difficulty for us is that these are enclave. The Jabiluka uranium mine is an enclave within the park. It's within the external boundaries of the World Heritage listed area. Now, in 2010, the World Heritage Committee had a minor boundary modification and included the Koongarra area. And that maybe that's a precedent that we should be revisiting one day soon.
Thank you. Are there other questions from the audience? Okay, so I see no questions. So our panel is here for the remainder of the time of the press conference. So I'll close the panel now. Thanks again to everybody for your presentations. This is, I think, a landmark for us to have for the first time an understanding of not just the outstanding universal value of World Heritage areas, and the World Heritage Outlook report that we released several days ago was addressed to the conservation values of these areas. We've now got a way to also understand, on top of those values, which is what the World Heritage Convention protects, what are the other reasons that World Heritage areas are important to people, what benefits do they provide, and how should we broaden our thinking about World Heritage Areas, and also how should we use World Heritage Areas to show off really an example of what all protected areas are about. You know, they conserve nature, but they also provide benefits to people. Thank you for your questions and your attention, and I'll close this panel. Thank you. Good. Thank you very much again.
Thank you.
Another great cooperation.